Resumed by Snowspider. Chapter 2. Nothing. Pony found nothing. No excited kid greeting him at the front door. No sleepy-headed boy staring at him with bleary eyes after Tony accidentally woke him up. The apartment was just empty. Leaving his suit at the door, Tony flopped down onto the sofa. He was so sure that Peter wouldn't be here that it hurt him knowing he wasn't. "Where are you, Pete?" Tony pleaded with the boy in his mind. Tony's phone began ringing when Tony took it out. The caller ID read May Parker. What perfect timing that woman had, but that didn't matter. What was Tony going to tell her? She just lost her kid, and it was indirectly his fault. Tony let the kid talk him into allowing another patrol session. Tony was the one that said yes. He didn't even check in enough with Karen to make sure Peter was okay. Peter was dead because of him. The phone continued to ring with a shaking hand, Tony pressed accept. On the other side, the first thing Tony heard was a soft crying, and then May whispered out in a broken tone, "Tony, where is our baby?" "I'm so sorry, May, I don't know," Tony said, rubbing a tired hand across his face. He briefly wondered if May had any alcoholic beverages in her pantry, but he knew she probably didn't. Tony just wanted a long drink. He had to wait. May let out a loud sob. She leaned her head back against the car seat. He was currently in the hospital parking lot, and she wanted to go home, she really did. But the tears made her vision too blurry for safe driving. She lost her dear Ben to some bad guy, and now Peter too. Did he bleed out from a gunshot wound, or a stab wound? Maybe something completely different. Her brain kept hovering to a single point. Was her baby in so much pain that he couldn't even manage to say goodbye or reach Tony? The thought hurt her heart. "What injuries did he die from?" May asked, unable to complete the sentence without her voice cracking midway. The line remained silent for a few moments before Tony exhaled roughly. "I don't know, May. I'm supposed to, but I don't." Why didn't Karen report to him the first time Peter's vitals started to drop? Why didn't he even think of that sooner? His stupid mind only focused on panicking instead of how to solve the problem. They couldn't hold a funeral without the body. That is, if Peter was really dead. He might still be alive, May. They haven't found a body or anything. Tony hated spreading false hope, but how could he even attempt to soothe May? Peter had meant everything to her, and to him and Pepper. "Did you even watch the newspaper instead of just the audio? They showed pictures, Tony, pictures. There was so much blood. Nobody can survive that, not even Peter." May finished, sounding bleak and sucked from any joy. Tony clenched his fist. What was the point of the pictures? To torture loved ones and young kids who looked up to their resident hero? "May, are you still at the hospital?" "I can't drive. My mind just won't focus." The blunt honesty made Tony worry even more, especially coming from such an independent woman who didn't like showing weakness. "I'll send Happy. He'll bring you to the tower so that you, me, and Pep can talk." There would probably be more crying than talking, and in his case some drinking, but Tony didn't think he had to include that to send the message across. After May agreed, Tony disconnected the call and turned his attention to another nagging problem that didn't want to leave him alone. "Friday, be a dear and connect to Karen, would you?" Tony asked into his watch, which had a direct connection to Friday. "I'm unable to comply. There was only static, but I managed to retrieve a small clip just before Karen went offline." "Play it," Tony responded almost instantly. Tony was looking through the kid's mask at the man, supposedly Ada Becker. The man held various kitchen knives and weapons. "Dude, do you really need so many weapons?" Peter asked the murderer, jumping down from the ceiling he was perched on, Tony guessed. Something made a sickening splash. Did Tony miss a thrown dagger? Red seeped into the corner of the mask's eyelids, and everything went an eerie black as the suit glitches and Karen shut down. Tony's heart sped up once more. What had happened? Where did all that blood come from? And Tony's main question was, why did it knock Karen out? Was it simply based on the amount of it? Tony clenched his fists in anger. It was time to see the scene of the crime, and hopefully he got to punch Ada in his face. How dare he take his kid from him? Tony found it hard to admit, but beneath the mask, tears trickled slowly down his cheek. His innocent, clever Peter Parker presumed dead. Ned lay calmly on the top of his bunk bed in his bedroom, sleeping peacefully at such a late time of night. Peter lay below him, staring bleary-eyed at the far wall. Peter was sure he was forgetting something, but his tired, sore mind couldn't come up with a reason. He remembered only being supposed to sleep for an hour, and then going back to the tower. Maybe that was it. Peter pressed a hand to his still sore side and tried his best to ignore the pounding in his head. He did remember to tell Tony or May he was staying at Ned's, right? That seemed about right. Peter closed his eyes.